I guess without further ado, we can move into the much discussed, much requested, if you're ready, Gavin, breaking points debate. As Gavin asked in the headline today, are Krystal and Saagar at their breaking point?
Yeah, are we headed for a breaking points breakup?
Well, why don't we watch and see? So the thing about Krystal and Saagar, it is a pretty good dynamic, actually, because I think Krystal Ball is very well understood, researched. You know, she takes her time to find out what's really going on. She's not just moving on emotion. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not your classic type of person, you know, who just yells and gets mad about stuff and says, you know, hey, you know, I'm going to, demolish the right wing because I just don't like them. I'm sorry. I'm not that person. I need to have my information. Krystal Ball is very well informed. I don't know. I mean, I guess she calls herself a Democrat, but kind of more to me like a centrist Democrat. Saagar. I don't know. Am I saying it right? I'm sorry. Quite pretentious when I've seen him in interviews before, but I could be wrong. That is kind of a personal statement. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and look at this clip.
This gets really freaking intense, guys, like really intense. And I understand why, given the severity of the situation that we've been discussing today on the show with the, deportation situation, the removal of due process. It's a serious subject. And I think that it deserves this level of intensity in conversation. This is a 55-minute debate. Obviously,
and it does. I mean, obviously, we're not going to go through the whole 55 minutes. I do like to use the Vanguard. You will see that I like to use the Vanguard because they always provide just a little bit extra for me, a little bit extra stuff. And I do like these guys. I do. So I would imagine that this is about Mahmoud Khalil. And yeah, the removal of due process. But let's go ahead. And again, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this clip.
At 8:35 p.m., making it clear that actually it was over international territory and not over the waters of the United States. Now, do you really believe that some federal judge here in Washington, D.C. has the authority to tell the executive to turn a military aircraft around? You believe, okay, well, then we'll test that at the Supreme Court. We will test that theory at the United States Supreme Court. And if you're right, then we can...
Okay, please excuse me. I thought this was about Mahmoud Khalil. Please excuse me. But this is pretty deep because I hope I don't have to agree with Saagar here. Saagar? I don't know. I really don't want to have to agree with him, but let's just go ahead and watch again.
Or these criminals back here.
How do you know the criminals?
Well, first of all, I mean, this is where, look, you said something earlier, which I think is important. You think your country is being taken away from you because 300-something Venezuelan illegal immigrants were deported to El Salvador.
How do you, what proof do you even have of that?
What?
I mean, because here's the thing.
That they were deported to El Salvador?
No.
That they were illegal immigrants?
Here's the thing.
They all entered the country illegally.
According to the government. I mean, listen, I think that is probably true, but here's what you're defending. Hundreds of people who we don't know who they are disappeared into a foreign prison known for torture where no lawyers or journalists could possibly go and find out who they are.
This is a good point she's making. Hold on.
And whether the government story adds up with zero due process. That's what you're defending.
What I'm
is that Trump can summarily say, these people, they're gone. I'm putting them in this prison in a foreign country indefinitely at my discretion, and you don't get to say anything about it. That's what happened here. So I just don't see how
you can't say anything about it. Listen, I think it should be easily challenged to the United States Supreme Court. And I think that within the context of clearly the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, from what I've been able to review, he seems well within his rights to be able to do this from a State Department or a terrorist organization.
Bro, imagine giving up all of that. He doesn't even try and defend any of that. He immediately runs to, well, if you cite the Alien Enemies Act, which we used to fucking put Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II and is considered just a travesty of justice in our country, it's considered one of the biggest black marks on the entire 20th century, which was filled with black marks from our fucking government. Saagar, do you hear yourself?
And they're so right. Like, that's the thing. See, this is the extra stuff that I probably was going to forget to say. You know, by the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. You know, I really appreciate every eye that lands on this video. So, yeah. This right here, he's right. I totally forgot the fact that we've already done this. And they're right to bring it up because the thing is, look, dig this, right? I can understand if somebody says we want to get illegal aliens out of the country. But I actually do understand that discussion. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. Of course, right? But rounding up people and sending them to El Salvador is not what I signed up for. I didn't vote at all. So just so you know, like, I didn't sign up for any of this. So my conscience is clear. So we trust the government now, and this is why I don't understand. Yo, these Trump loyalists are gonna get. We are doomed. We are so cooked as a society because now the conservatives who cried about COVID, and believe me, I was really mad about how that happened because I don't trust the government. That is a class. First of all, like that right there is like she's a classic lib, like she is a Democrat who still holds true to her values. Saagar is saying that this is okay. And now suddenly we trust the government. Suddenly FISA court isn't a thing. Suddenly Patriot Act isn't a thing. My mind is blown when I hear people talk like this. It's like, so we haven't had any kind of infringements on people's rights. So we're just a clean of bill government. It doesn't work. We are supposed to question the government.
You are just a fucking stooge at this point. You're
he really is. Like, he just really is a stooge, bro. Like, because like this is insane.
Quite shamefully in the internment of Japanese citizens. You think it's okay for our government to round up whoever, claim they're criminals, and imprison them indefinitely in a foreign prison to be tortured.
Well, I'll flip it around.
Insane
so,
to me.
See, you seem much more concerned about that than the importation of 8 to 10 million illegal immigrants under Joe Biden. That seems to me like something my country's been taken away. So this is what I'm saying. Like, we can play this game all day long. Do you think that's an invasion?
Saagar.
I think that's an invasion.
Saagar.
8 to 10 million illegal immigrants.
But that's not what he's talking about.
No, but he's talking specifically about Venezuelan migrants.
Yes, and
Yes.
no, he's talking specifically
the gang
about
of
the
Tren de
Aragua.
Yes.
How many people are here from Tren de Aragua?
I have no idea. All right, and that's my
Estimates
that's not even
say roughly several hundred.
Who are we getting that
On
from? From the
this
ACLU or from the lawyer?
No, from agencies, from international agencies that track law and order across Latin America. These are not like liberal do-gooder. These are people who are looking at the spread of gangs.
And let me say this, right? There was a French politician who made waves the other day for saying something that Jesse Ventura, the former governor of Minnesota, said on our very podcast, which was that if Donald Trump wanted to continue with these deportations, if he wanted to continue cracking down at the border, then we had to give back the Statue of Liberty. Because I'll remind you, Saagar, it reads, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." That sounds to me like people seeking asylum from the.
Yeah, I'm a little older than these gentlemen, and shout out to them. Shout out to them. They've they do their thing, and look, right? Look, I do believe in being organized. That said. Saagar, it's the only reason why I like being faceless. My fucking gosh. Funny, I didn't get to please me. That said, Saagar is tripping because, again, it's not. I could be worried about but two things at the same time. I don't trust the government, guys. I don't. You know why? Look, let's keep it real, okay? Trump has said that his DOJ made a firm statement that they're going to stamp out anti-Semitism from this country. That's what they said, okay? I didn't say it, they did. What goes into doing that? How does that work out? When you can come and round people up, nobody knows me. Nobody knows who I am. So what if I get rounded up because I say that Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? And I feel like Saagar is running W so much that he's willing to be okay with this and not looking at where the ball is going. You have to look at where the ball is going. Why is that so hard to do?
Imprison in Gitmo. The Trump administration made the same, oh, these are gang members. These are the worst of the worst. Some of them didn't even have criminal records at all. Some of them, who they claimed were in Tren de Aragua, it was because of either they were from that state of Aragua in Venezuela and actually, like I said, had been fleeing the violence from this gang, or they happened to have a tattoo that made them think like, oh, they're just in the gang. One of the people who was part of this group is a LGBT Venezuelan who was in prison, according to his lawyer, because of his tattoo, was assumed to be in a gang. That's what we're talking about here. So there is no reason.
Why is he being gay or whatever? How is that relevant? Like what?
Because how do you think it's going to go for him, Saagar?
What?
He's an artist. How do you think this?
But why is Saagar like bring? All right, so she said he's LGBT, right? I wouldn't even stay stuck on that, right? He's this guy. He doesn't know. Look, I'm going to say the thing that. Okay, my God, I can't even believe I'm about to say this. I don't want to say he's self-hating because that's terrible, right? Like I don't want to say that, but he is really trying to play the part of a conservative. Like the first thing you heard was, oh, he's LGBT. Like, bro, we got bigger issues to fry here, bro. Like they are setting up a wartime martial law. You know, she might be concerned for different reasons than me. I know that I have to speak to Americans and I have to reach Americans where they are. This type of precedent, I'm telling you, after seeing what is in that Patriot Act and the FISA courts and all of this stuff that goes into this, we are looking at serious martial law. And people like Saagar, I'm sorry, they're going to say it's base, bro. Insane.